Hi, I'm Daniel Packard, UC Berkeley mechanical engineer and human engineer who specializes in developing permanent solutions for human limitations. And I've spent the last 10 years reverse engineering an innovative inner technology, which works basically like an inner gym, meaning if you work the steps, you're guaranteed to get the results, which is to be completely and permanently free of that which holds you back and to have it happen quickly. And because it's a gym, it's perfect for pro athletes because pro athletes have a physical gym where they're able to systematically achieve optimal physical performance. And now they have the opportunity and access to an inner gym to systematically create optimal inner performance. And I had the opportunity of training former pro athletes, Vernon Fox the third, who I want to introduce to you now so you can meet him. Vernon in college was all conference player, academic All-American studying sociology. As a high school coach, he won Coach of the Year and took his team to the state title. As a pro athlete, he played in the NFL for 8 years and now is a minister and life coach. And more importantly, just a good man of faith, honor, and integrity. Vernon, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing amazing, Daniel, man. It's always a privilege to sit down and chat with you. I always look forward to these moments. So thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're looking sharp. I like that shirt.
I appreciate it, brother. I wore this one for you.
Thank you. And I love the NFL player in the background. As I told you many times, I have such mad respect for, I have such huge respect for professional athletes, but especially NFL players. I told you that time when I was playing sort of slightly competitive flag football, and there was this not very good college player, but he was big and he was running by, and I didn't really want to touch him and try to grab the flag. But I didn't want my teammates to know that I was avoiding. So I just stuck my hand out just like this, and he ran by and he hit my thumb and he just broke my thumb. He broke my thumb, Vernon. So that's the end of my pro career. I would have lasted about 4 minutes in the NFL. So I don't know if you guys, if there's Kevlar in your bodies. I don't know if you're part animatronic or the Winter Soldier, but I just think I have such respect for the fact that A, you perform at that level, but B, that you're still alive, because it looks scary, but it looks so much fun.
No, it is fun, man, and I definitely get a kick out of that. Even when I watch it now, having been out of the game for a little bit, I wonder what was going on in my head to be able to run around and do what I did out there. And I think more so it was having Kevlar in your blood, just being a animal and having that type of mentality. So yeah, no, I love that I was able to do that, and it was a special opportunity.
Beautiful. Now, you said to me at one point when we were working together, you said, had I had this technology when I was playing, I would have played longer, been more successful, made more money, and just enjoyed playing more. And when I heard that, it warmed my heart. But I want you to share more about that to players that are listening to this.
They're tools that I believe I learned during this specific technology experience that definitely would have given me opportunities to extend all of those areas. Like you say, I would have been able to play longer. I certainly would have been more productive in my craft. And it really would have just given me more fulfillment, to be honest, because I think there were so many things that I learned about me, and it really makes me a better man now. And I wish I would have had it then.
So this process that I developed is innovative in its effectiveness and the fact that it solves patterns quickly. But I want you to communicate from your perspective as a coach, as a player, as a minister. What is special and valuable about this process that you would want a pro athlete to know?
Well, Daniel, first and foremost, I'll say you should be proud, because this is not only innovative, but it's rather unique and different than anything I've ever been exposed to. And I've been exposed to a lot of things. I've met a lot of people. I've worked with a lot of people, and just, whatever it took in order to be the best athlete that I could be. And never having been exposed to something like this, I just wonder, looking back hindsight, like how much more I could have accomplished in my career. And this holistically gives you something that nothing else I've really been exposed to does. And so I just look forward to the opportunity to share.
Well, imagine as a coach, you see a player and maybe he's not as strong as you want. You can actually say, go hit the gym, and that'll help. But up until now, there hasn't been an inner gym. So how would it have been for you as a coach if you see a player, performer not reaching their potential because of something inner, and you could say to him, hit that inner gym? What would that have been like?
It would have been amazing. I mean, when I was a coach, I was helping players on the field. That was my job, to train them on the field. I had a sports psychologist coming in once a week, so he's helping them with some of these tools, with their breathing and performance and that type of thing. If I knew that I could have a Daniel Packard come and work with my athlete, like, man, I'm getting the best of every world in terms of training these athletes to just be a super team. So, I mean, I wish, again, I'm going to stop. I try not to live with regrets, but man, I'm starting to regret. So I got to stop this.
Oh, that's heartfelt. So we were talking one time about the great performers, MJ and Kobe. I call him MJ because, we were buds. He lets me call him MJ. He calls me DP. That's a whole other sad story. But anyway, we're talking about, Michael Jordan's and Kobe's, that in those big moments there, you told me they have this ability to just drown everything out and connect to that root core belief in self. And we hear these stories, and I'm sure athletes think, well, that's great, but what if I don't have that? I need that now. And the beauty of this technology is it allows you to basically, like a gym, build that inner Kobe, that inner MJ proactively in a matter of weeks. And I was wondering if you could just share your perspective on that ability to proactively create that inner greatness that every athlete wants.
Ultimately, it is just a supreme level of confidence where they're just certain of who they are, and they, are fully aware of their abilities. And it's not that, those other individuals that maybe don't operate at the same level or perform at the same level, it's not that they don't have confidence, but, there's a gap. And so how do you close that gap? How do you get to that place? And again, this technology is something that will help you get to a place of self-belief.
It's a lot of times the idea of being a better us, being more confident, believing in myself. You hear it all the time. You can see it on a poster, in a doctor's office, but it's often nebulous. How do I do that? What does that look like? Where do I go? And I'm an engineer. I built this like an inner gym with specific steps. You work the steps, you get the results. And I came up with it because I was horribly insecure as a teenager. And then when I was 22 years old, I was trying to impress a girl while I was dancing. And I remember watching a video where like a guy flips off a wall. He does that flip off the wall. And I thought, I'm going to flip off the wall. I got about halfway up the wall and I thought, maybe not a great idea. So I couldn't complete the flip. So I thought, switch to Spider-Man mode. And I kind of flew off the wall like Spider-Man. And I landed and my knee just exploded. But I didn't want her to know. So I just kind of gave her but I was in agony. But I went to a knee doctor who was the knee doctor for the 49ers. He puts my knee together. Then I go to physical therapy, basic steps that got me up and running. And now I'm dancing. So my insecurity lasted for decades, but my knee was fixed in about 8 months. And so I thought, what if I could create an inner gym, inner therapy for athletes that could then take insecurity and get that down to 6 weeks. So could you just speak to that? Because athletes are built for discipline and steps. And so speak to that there are these ideas that are nebulous, be a better self, but what's the power of having an inner gym where if you work the steps, you get the results, and why is that so powerful and helpful for an athlete?
I think once again, athletes understand how progress is made. It's continual attention to detail. It is consistency, it's intentionality, and it's no different when you're working in this inner gym.
where it's really like 10 minutes a day. And if you're an athlete and you see someone physically stronger, you can think, I know I can go to this machine in the gym, that machine in the gym, and I know it's not mysterious, it's not nebulous. I know if I work that step, I'll get that result. And this hasn't been applicable to inner strength. So I just want you to say to an athlete out there that in fact, this technology, if you want to just build that thing, whatever that thing is internally, this is a gym that works basically with 10 minutes a day.
And it's that simple. You know, again, the consistency. You're doing something for 10 minutes a day. You're spending the time debriefing. You're keeping record of your progress. All of those things that we understand as athletes. For instance, if I'm an athlete and I know that, you know, a basketball player, the weakest part of my game is free throw shooting. Everything else, I'm phenomenal. You know, my outside game, my inside game, working in the paint, you know, rebounding, defense, all of that stuff, I'm doing amazing, but I'm just stinking at being a free throw shooter. What are you going to focus on? You're going to focus on free throw shooting. So there's going to be an extra 30 minutes a day that you're spending just working on that specifically. And you understand that consistency is going to bring progress. It's no different. So once you go through this inner gym, you know, with yourself, Daniel, I was able to figure out like, okay, what are my weak points? Where are the areas that I'm getting tripped up? Maybe some things that were in my blind spot that I wasn't able to see. And once I honed in on those things and I understand those things, what am I going to work on? I'm going to work on those specific things. And so my 10 minutes a day, my 15 minutes a day is going to be me focusing on those weak areas. And over time and consistency, you're going to see improvement. And you're actually going to, the cool thing about it is you keep a written record. So, you know, you're writing out some things, you're taking notes, and you go back and you can literally track your progress and see like, man, I am literally making progress in a short amount of time. So that's the coolest thing about it for me.
So the inner gym that I developed is based on this idea of hardware and software. We got the hardware, which is our mind and our body, and then we have our deep operating system, our selfware that runs us. And as you know, if the software runs well, the hardware runs well. But if we get glitches or bugs in our software or our selfware, then the hardware doesn't function properly. And so this technology, this gym, allows you to find the glitches or the bugs in your selfware that are making the hardware not run properly, and you get to upgrade the glitches. And you mentioned to me that athletes have access to incredibly high-level technologies for the physical body, and that this allows high-level technologies for the spiritual body, for the selfware. And you said how powerful an idea it is to have both elite-level hardware and elite-level selfware. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think for me that was the coolest part, is understanding the selfware. And, you know, when we talk about it in that vernacular terminology, it makes me think of, you know, your computer getting a virus, and eventually that hardware goes bad if the software is not upgraded or cleaned out. And so it was just like a cleaning process for me. It was helping me to, again, identify and qualify some things. And once I was able to begin cleaning up that selfware, I saw this translate into me just overall, my performance, again, as a businessman, as a husband, as a father, you know, as a man of God, all of those areas of my life, I feel like I was able to be more productive, and just the decisions that I made every single day were intentional. I was no longer just kind of operating off of bad habits and cycles, but I was thinking about the decisions that I was making, and those decisions were putting me in a better position to succeed.
Well, that's the beauty, is in this technology, almost everything we struggle with, whether we call it sabotage, inconsistency, procrastination, trauma, in this model, it's all just symptoms of these basic core glitches in the base level operating system. Now, the downside is the glitches are in the base level operating system, and if you don't address them, you're always going to see these symptoms. But the beauty is that if you upgrade these core glitches, these symptoms on the outside just vanish. And I was wondering if you could just share your perspective on seeing these symptoms that you maybe had a long time almost just dissipate.
So as athletes, one of the things that we understand well is that it's not about talking a good game, but it is all about results. Like if you're not literally out there getting it done, then, no one really cares at the end of the day. And I've seen tangible results through this process. When I started with you, Daniel, I remember one of the biggest hangups I had was I had been working on a book for probably 4 years. And I was almost embarrassed to admit that, because I had sat down and I had written 3/4 of this book and I was just stuck. And you helped me kind of uncover some things like, why are you stuck? And ultimately, what I figured out was that my fear of failure was holding me back. I was afraid to release what I had been working on because I just felt like this is going to be rejected. People aren't going to want it. It's not going to help anybody. And I literally sat down in the course of the time that we were working together and I finished that book. Like, I'm done. Like, I am days away from having this book in my hands. And I'm talking 4 years. And in a matter of just months, like I was able to just finish this thing. Like I sat down, I finished it, I went through with the process. And the funny thing about it is I got no fear of the results. Like, I just did the work and I'm just like, man, I want to release this to help people. And however it comes back or whatever impact that it has, like, that's the only thing that matters to me. I'm not afraid of someone rejecting it because I know what it was set forth to do. So, man, I appreciate that.
Man. And so I'm speechless by your makes me happy to know I helped you in that way. And it was just very well said. And because it's going to the root, it's not just one thing, it's multiple things. And this is, I think what I've developed is great and it's innovative. Nobody cares about it. What they care is about the benefits. Show me the money. What have you done for me lately? How is this going to benefit me? So I'm going to list off a bunch of benefits to professional athletes, and we'll just go through a few of them and I'll just list them off. If you feel that that's a benefit for you or other athletes, just say, yes or definitely and why. Okay. First thing is something that's incredibly important to all professional athletes: consistency. Did it help you and would it help others, do you believe, with consistency?
100%. This will help with consistency. And part of that reason is because it helps you to be consistent with yourself. You can't be consistent doing anything else if you have inconsistencies in yourself and your self-aware. And this totally just broke that down, helped me to tap into consistency, and it translates into everything.
Next thing, handling pressure on the field.
Yes, this certainly would have helped me with handling pressure on the field, because a lot of the things that brought me pressure wouldn't have no longer brought me pressure. And part of that is because I would have had some healing that I was able to experience, that I wouldn't have put this pressure on myself, because a lot of that pressure that you experience out there, it's not coming from the fans or the coaches. It's coming from that expectation that you have on yourself. And when that's healthy, man, you don't experience that same level of pressure.
Handling pressure off the field.
Totally. With handling pressure off the field, I think it's almost aligned, because a lot of those expectations that you place on yourself to perform on the field, you're putting those same pressures on yourself off the field, because now you're just trying to live up to this standard of who people expect you to be. And once you're able to heal that, man, on the field, off the field, in every way, you're going to lessen that.
Dealing with the expectations and caring less what others think. Why does this technology help you care less what others think?
It definitely helps. And I think the reason why is because when you care about more what you think, you naturally care less about what other people think. And so when I became more important and everyone else became less important in terms of the pressure or expectations that they put on me, and I experienced that through this technology.
Spoken like a student. When you care more what you think, you care less what other people think. I love it. It's deep. You integrated it, Vernon. All right, next one. Being a better teammate. Does this help, and why?
This definitely would help you in being a better teammate. And part of the reason why is because you're being a better you. And when you can be a better you, guess what? That puts you in a position to care more about everyone else. And so it's not just about you being successful, but now every atmosphere that you're in, you want everyone around you to be successful. And so naturally, if you got 55 guys in the locker room having that mentality and they're being team firsters, the entire team and the organization gets better.
Being a leader in your organization and your team, does this technology help with that, and why?
I definitely think this technology helps in terms of helping you to be a better leader in the locker room or in your organization. And here's the reason why, is because it'll separate you. Anybody that goes through this process, it's going to separate you and you're going to stand out. And naturally, leaders are those that stand out and those that have influence. And when you can harness everything that you've experienced and it's made you a better you, is going to make everyone else around you better.
Beautiful. Every athlete wants to play, and every athlete wants to play as long as possible. Would this technology help an athlete play longer? And if so, why?
I think it would extend the career of athletes, and part of that reason is just because you're healthier. So many athletes, when they're done, myself included, when you're done with your career, you're spending all of this time now redefining who you are, like trying to figure out your identity away from what you did instead of knowing who you are. And I think that if you were aware of who you were, then you wouldn't have these identity crises in the midst of your career, which would allow you to continue to extend that career, because again, that's making you a better you, which naturally is going to make you a better performer, and it's going to just provide more opportunities for you to keep going.
So if you're a professional athlete, you're already at a high level, and some people are at a high level within the high level. But can this technology take any person at any elite level and get them to the next level of their greatness? And if so, why?
I definitely think this technology is going to take anyone that's an athlete to the next level of performance. And part of that reason is because, again, as you are experiencing self-improvement, this is just going to put you in a position where you can go and implement those things, and in your craft, you're going to improve. And so if you got those around you who, let's just say, the highest of the high, they're operating at a level 10, you're operating at a level 7, you're going to close that gap, because now what you are gaining through this process is going to take you from a level 7 to a level 8 to a level 9, where you're able to better compete. And again, that just, it's a trickle down. It's going to help you make more money. It's going to open up more opportunities, going to, make your career last longer. All of those things you're going to benefit from.
So as we know, one of the struggles that some professional athletes deal with is that their past experiences and upbringing affect who they become and their potential. So does this technology allow it such that your past experiences and upbringing doesn't affect your future success and potential?
I would say most definitely, because oftentimes a lot of the decisions, and let's just be honest, some of the bad decisions that athletes make are because of their exposures or their past experiences. And they're not able to break away from some of those bad patterns and habits that were developed before they became a professional athlete. And so if you're able to get to a place of healing by reconnecting and understanding what those things did to you and the trauma that you experienced, every decision that you make moving forward is going to be healthy, and it's going to take you away from those old things that impacted and affected you. And that's something you can learn through this process.
And would this technology help an athlete take better care of their finances, both while they're playing and after? And if so, why?
I would definitely say yes. Part of the reason that a lot of athletes end up going broke, part of it is a lack of education, financial literacy. But I think the other part of it is just the self-sabotaging and self-destructive decisions that are being made. And again, when you start to feel your worth and you start to understand, why you're important and why you deserve to treat yourself a specific way, then you won't make a lot of those decisions that put you in a position where you will end up losing everything that you have. And so I definitely think that, there are some tools that I learned in this process that just helped me to care enough about doing what's best for me and for my family in the long run.
Beautiful. So because you're not just a player, you're a football coach, a life coach, and a minister, you have a lot of perspectives. So what would you say to a coach that has a player with a ton of potential and tell him why this technology would be valuable to them?
Well, I think as a coach, oftentimes we're trying to figure out how to put athletes in the best position to succeed. Like how can I bring the best out of this athlete? And here is a whole nother element that we're not even made aware of. Like, you can teach them every skill, you can teach them every technique, and they'll be better athletes. But how do you get them to like get out of their own head? Because sometimes you'll have athletes that have the greatest potential in the world, but they never ever realize that potential because there's a block. And this is something that moves that block out of the way, because it helps them to tap into that side of themselves that actually helps them to elevate who they are, and it also elevates their performance. So, I mean, if you're a coach and you want to help your athletes be the best version of themselves and perform at the greatest levels, this is something you got to be dialed into.
And then also as a minister, a man of God, even though I'm very technical, very mechanical, I believe this technology is connecting us to spirit and source to be what the universe and God intended for us. And so I was wondering if you could just share on that bridge between sort of inner technology and divinity for the faith-based athlete.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I'm always skeptical about is I never want to engage in anything that's going to cause a conflict for me morally, or as it pertains to my values and my ethics when it comes to my spiritual well-being. And so, this, it really is a bridge. It kind of like connects all of that. So it's not a matter of me disassociating myself spiritually, but I'm actually enhancing my ability to be what God created me to be and to really operate in a higher level of my purpose. That's really what it's all about. I believe as a minister, part of my goal is to help people tap into connecting with their purpose and what God's purpose is for their life. And for me, this was like a streamline to help me get there and to really just be better when it comes to even operating as a minister. My sensitivity to people and just my empathy and understanding, like, man, sometimes it goes a little bit deeper. Like, people have some inner self-aware issues that they're dealing with. And it's like, man, I have the ability now, I feel like, to be a better coach, to be a better minister because of that.
And so what would you say to a manager or agent who cares about their clients and wants to make sure that they have the most success and enjoyment of their career? How would this technology benefit their clients?
I think when you're a manager or an agent, your job is to care about the holistic well-being of your client. So, when you want them to be financially healthy, you get them a financial advisor or someone that can train them in that area. You care about their performance, so you're getting them dietitians and athletic trainers, people that can help them to be a better athlete. So when you consider their emotional well-being, you want to connect them with someone that can help them kind of get to the glitches and the things that hold them back from being the best them in every area of their life. This is the only thing that can help someone be great in every area. Some of those other things, they're specific to a specific thing, but this in particular is going to help them be the best them on every spectrum. And so why would you not expose them to something that gives them that opportunity and ability?
Make them better in all areas. The engineer in me loves that because I love efficiency, maximum benefit with the least amount of work. On that note, Vernon Fox the third, thank you so much for being in my life, for trusting me, for allowing me to help you to get to that highest level of you. And thank you for sharing your experiences with the world. I appreciate you very much, my friend.
Man, I thank you, and I think the gratitude should be directed back to you. I didn't know what I was missing until you helped me to learn that, and so man, I'm definitely a better me, and I can't wait to put that book in your hand, my brother.
The circle of life, beautiful. I look forward to it too. All right, my friend, talk to you later.
All right, brother, God bless.
Woo! As the kids say, that was fire, VF3. That was fire.